God gave us freedom, you know, but sometimes this freedom is being abused. Sometimes it's being misinterpreted wrongly, you know. Maybe too much freedom also smell dangerous also. Don't you think so?
I don't think you can be too free, but we can all misuse our freedom.
Yes.
And the deepest freedom we have is to give our lives to other people.
Service.
In service and in love. To give our lives to somebody else in marriage.
Yes.
To give our lives to the people of God, to serve them. That is the greatest freedom. In our society, often we think that freedom is just about choice.
Yes.
What are you going to buy? What are you going to wear? What job will you have?
Yes.
The freedom of the market, the freedom of the consumer.
Yes.
But I think God calls us to a much deeper freedom, which is the freedom to give our lives away.
To let go of the material world, you know.
Well, but also to be generous. The greatest joy is when you give yourself to somebody else.
And you feel free, right?
Oh, I think so, yes.
That's when you give yourself.
I'm still learning, Elvira.
Yes.
I'm still learning.
Every day, you have to keep on learning. You know, your education is always present there, you know.
Absolutely. You go on from beginning to beginning to beginning.
Yes. In the beginning, you keep saying, because of the challenge of the word truth, you join this congregation. So, finally, can you say that you really learn to accept the truth that you are looking for? And what is this truth that you have in mind?
Well, the fullness of truth is the mystery of love.
Okay.
That is the fullness of truth we all seek. And I believe that that truth is God. But I can learn about love from everybody. I just don't learn about it by reading the Bible. I learn about it by going to films.
Okay.
I learn about the truth of love by reading novels. I love novels. I'm always reading novels.
Okay.
I learn about the truth of love from many of my friends who aren't Christian.
Okay.
The truth, the mystery of love is so deep that everybody has something to teach us. And I think if we want to share our faith about the mystery of love, which is God, we have to show that we are also learning from other people.
Yes.
Regardless of whether they are believers or not. Because every human being has a little bit to teach me, if I can accept it.
The greatest gift that one can give is really to understand the Bible, to understand God's love, why He died and sacrificed for us, right, Father Radcliffe?
That's absolutely true. But I think when we learn to love well, we give space to people. I think sometimes our love can be possessive of another.
Yes.
And we want to control them. We want to hold them. We want to limit them. And I think almost the test of a Christian love, a grown-up love,
Yes.
is that you give the other person freedom. You give them space. And you can see this with parents. When parents really love their children, they let them go. And they'll let them fall in love with other people and eventually make their own home. So I think you never love too much. The difficulty is to love in a way that ultimately is not possessive, that frees the other person.
But isn't it that is the case in the Western world, you know, where you let go? Love should not be possessive, which I agree with you, that the parents should learn to let the children go, search for their own, you know, kind of love, kind of space. As you said, the space is very important. But in the Asian culture, it's not like that. Parents tend to be not really possessive, but more of, we say, protective. In Asia, is, as you said, major religions are here: Hinduism, Muslim, Buddhist, Taoism, you know. So even though they are very different from one another, still family is more important. You know, it's still family is the basic of everything. Regardless of what faith they have, I saw a common thing, love for your family.
But don't you think, Elvira, that every culture can teach us something?
Yes.
So I think that when I come to Asia,
Yes.
and Asia is so big, there are many different ways of being Asian.
Yes.
But if I come to the Philippines, I'm always really touched by the warmth of people and the tenderness of people.
Yes.
And I think that that enduring love for the family is a gift that the Philippines gives to everyone in the world. And I think the West also has gifts
Yes.
in cherishing the freedom of people. When I go to Africa, I learn something else too.
Yes.
When I go to Latin America.
It's also different.
So every culture, I think, has something to teach us about what it is to be family, and what it is to be human.
As you said, it's a learning experience. We learn from one another. There is something beautiful in them which we don't have, but there is something beautiful in us that they don't have.
Sure.
So to achieve peace is really, I feel that love should really be the one, and make Jesus the center of, how do you call that, as the intermediator of everything. Because if there is no faith, we believe only in ourselves, chaos will, because everybody wants to be powerful. But we have to let Jesus enter into our hearts and mind for us to be able to understand what is the mystery of love. Why is it that we have this faith? Because what is faith if we don't believe in Jesus?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, in every culture, we are meeting other worlds. The prior of my community, the boss in my community in Oxford, his father is Indian and his mother is English.
Okay.
And the latest novice we have, his father is Irish, his mother is Malaysian.
Okay, it's very
And I
interesting.
think that this is a real sign of hope. The
Interculture.
cultures are meeting each other. And we have children now being born who know the East and the West. They know the North and the South. And I think that will help us to build a culture of peace.
So you think the present generation is more equipped, to address the problem that is happening now because they receive both culture, Western and Eastern, so they can be a messenger of peace because they were more understanding.
In many ways.
Yeah.
And of course our young people are often on Facebook, they're often on Twitter, they're in contact with people all over the world. So I think the young people often have less prejudice than people of my generation.
Yes.
So that's why I'm very hopeful when I see the young of today. I think that they have great promise for the future.
Most of the complaint that I receive is that they will say, oh, you're so young, you don't know anything. But now it should not be like that, right, Father Radcliffe?
Well, we have to listen across the generations. I think the old have some wisdom, and the young have their wisdom too, and their enthusiasm, and their strength. So what we have to do is to overthrow divisions between the generations.
We will continue our discussion sa pagbabalik po ng Power to Unite with Elvira.